Hi everybody, today's video it is for Git Basic Commands tutorial, and we are going to start with Git description. What is Git? Git is a free and open source distributed version control system to manage a project or a set of files as they change over the time. What it means? It means that you can use it for free. It is an open source, you don't have to pay for use it. And also, what is the amazing of version control system? I will try to explain. So here in this image we have on the right, it is a live project, and we have different changes during the time of the project. And suppose that at this point we modify a file, and the projects continue and go on and go on and go on, and after 3 weeks you realize here that you need to revoke those changes because the changes were wrong. So you can recover, you go here to this commit, and you can recover the version file as it was in this point of the time. So that's the amazing thing, that you can recover the file previous of any change. Okay, and the next we want to see a brief history of Git. In 2002, the Linux team began using a proprietary version control system called Bitkeeper. This for distributed, and as anywhere, sometimes things go wrong, and relationship between Bitkeeper team and Linux team broke down, and the Linux team started to work to build a new version control system, special in particular for Linus Torvalds, the creator of Linux. So that's the way Git start to work, to rebuild for Linux team. And as we say in Mexico, if life gives you lemons, make a lemonade. Great. So let's pass the next slide. And here we want to explain an overview how it works. Git integrated with GitHub. Git can work with GitHub and another providers of Git, for example GitLab and others. So here in the first image we have here, let's suppose that we have a team working in a project. We have Fred, Dave and Lisa, and the three of them, they are creating new files, modifying, delete files, creating folders. So when they are ready, they send all changes to GitHub service, so they can keep only one version of the repository. So that's the amazing thing, that that you can have only one repository, central repository. And locally, let's see how it works. We have three areas. One is working directory, the next is staging area, and the last one is repository. So working directory, it is the place that you create files, modify, create folders, and do any change you require for the projects. And to move those changes or new files to a staging area, so you execute the command git add and git add. So all changes will be moved here. And the next step, to move the changes or new files from a staging area to repository, you execute the git command. Basically that's the cycle of GitHub. There are a lot of more commands, but the basic commands are those that I have shown you. So the next slide is for a tool for these tutorials. We are going to use Git. It's a free, it's already installed on my local machine. It is not a scope how to install it, but it is easy to install. GitHub, the service on the cloud. Also you can create an account and create repositories, public repositories for free. Also we are going to use Git Kraken. This is just for support for the tutorial. It is not required, but we are going to use it just for better explanation. We are going to run this tutorial on their Debian 10. It's a Linux version. Also we are going to use the terminal and Firefox as a browser to connect to the GitHub. Okay, So now we have the list of the steps that we are going to execute for explain this Git version integrated with GitHub. So first step is says open a terminal. Yes, okay. Here we have an open terminal. We are in the home directory for my account. We are working on Linux, and now we are going to check if we have already installed Git. So let's execute the following command: git ---- version. And actually we have a version 2.20.1, so it's already installed. And now we are going to create a folder in, it will be the work directory. So let's create a folder here, make directory, and the name will be let's put a name of this one, any folder, tutorial, G tutorial. Okay, so let's move to this folder, and we don't have any file there because we just created. So we check the version, we create the folder, we move on to that folder, and then we are going to execute this command. We can copy here, paste it. This is for create a file. So now we have a file here. The name of the file is readme.md. So now we are going to execute this command to tell Git that will be a repository, local repository. So let's go to execute this git init. So now Git knows that this folder will be a repository, local repository on my equipment. And next we are going to add this file. Let's move to the previous slide. So here we create a file, readme.md file. Now we are going to move this file to staging area. And how we are going to do this? We are going to execute git add command. So let's go git add readme. Okay, let's git status. How can you see this in red? Previous of this command it was on red. Now it's green. And next, to pass this file to repository, so we are going to execute a git commit command. Git commit dash message, and the message init repository. Done. Okay, we execute these three instructions: create a files, move to a staging area with git add command, then move to repository with git commit. And so now let's go back to the steps here. And now the next we are going to create a repository on GitHub, and link our local repository with this GitHub repository. So let's create a repository on GitHub. Click here, new, and put it. We start to put the same name. Tutorial is will be a public repository. So let's create repository. Done. We don't have anything here because we just created. So the next step, we are going to move the files we created on the local repository and move to the remote repository. Okay, so let's go here to the tutorial. We are going to execute this command. This part of the command we will get it from GitHub. So let's copy this part, copy here, shift insert, and then go to GitHub, and here this is instruction, and this icon we can copy this instruction. So yeah, I already copied it, and we're going to fix here. Okay, now we tell to Git that this local repository will be linked with this remote repository. Okay, and next step, okay, we are going to push this instruction is to move the file that we created on the remote repository. Okay, let's go back here. So we have some changes here ready to move to GitHub, and we are going to execute git push command to move to remote repository. So we are going to execute here the push command. I say git push previous. Let's show here we don't have any file. After this command we expect one file here, readme file. Okay, so let's execute this command here. Git push region master, and it requires the credentials for GitHub account. Okay, so let's go now to GitHub account here, tutorial, and now we have one file here, the one that we created on the local repository. We pushed it into the remote server. Okay, so now let's open Kraken here and open this repository we created, local repository, and execute some commands and see how we can see in this software Kraken, Git Kraken. So we create the tutorial. Where is tutorial training? Git tutorial. Open. Okay, here we have the master branch. When we create a repository, we start with a master branch, and we have only one file here, one commit. This red dot means that we have done one commit. So let's do some changes here. We are going to change this file we just created. This command is for, it's an editor. Can you see? We already detect that we have to modify this file. We are going to modify this file. Yes, add new text. Yes, to detect, to check. So already have the here. Okay, we have a pending change to move. So let's execute here git status. We can see that we have one file modified in red. So let's move to a staging area. We're going to use git add command. Git add. So if we execute this git add command, will we move all changes we have done on this repository to the staging file. So we can click here, and now we can see here the readme.md files in staging area. So now we are going to move to repository, and for this we need to execute a commit command. So we are going to execute git commit message modify. Done. Okay, so here we are going to click, and we have two commits here, two red dots. So now here going to this GitHub, and this file, open it. As you can see, this file history, we have only one line. After to push this change, we want to have two lines. So I want to push this change again. Okay, so execute again the push and give credentials. Ready. Okay, now go again to here, view the file. As we can see now we have a new line. Okay, so let's start to make another create files and create folders. So I'm going to move here. I'm going to create a folder, make directory, model, move to model. We don't have anything in model. Let's create one file. We can say let's put anything on the file. Let's use an editor, model.py, and we can add anything here. Save it. Okay, so now here we execute git status, so we have one file here. Okay, and we go to Kraken and also it detects that we have created a file under the model folder. Okay, so let's move this to and this file to the staging area. So I'm going to do this with this solver. Click here and it's already in the staging area. Now I'll put a description, create p1 committed, done. So now we already have done the committed and we can execute it. Git status, we don't have any pending committed. Your branch is ahead for one commit, nothing to commit, working tree clean. Okay, so now we are going to make a push to transfer those changes to the GitHub repository. We can execute also with this one. We wait for 1 second, seconds. Done. So now let's go here and check for tutorial. As we can see here, we have a folder model, and also we have a file here. You can see here a file and the lines that we added to this file. So that's the way it works. We started from scratch, creating a project, a folder for repository, create some files, modify some files, and then push them to the GitHub repository. So let's make the last change here. All done. So we have here, let's do model, change to model folder and modify py. Let's add a line here, push the date, Thursday, June 18, 2020. Okay, so now let's see the status of Git status. It is in red. It means that it needs to be moved to the working area, to the repository. So let's execute here. We have already modified this file, so let's put the stage file. We move to the stage, and now we're going to execute a commit for this change. Modify py. It's not required. Done. Okay, now we need to push those changes to GitHub repository, remote repository. So let's go here, tutorial, readme model. Here. Okay, so let's execute the push command here. Push. Also, we can execute it from the terminal better, from his easier. It doesn't require request for credentials. Okay, so now go here again and tutorial. Let's go to model and open this one. Okay, this is the data we added here. So this is the basic commands for GitHub, and I appreciate your attention for this tutorial, and we can see it later in another videos. Thank you.